Welcome to Istanbul, Turkey, and home of the Grand Bazaar. The Grand Bazaar, or Kapalı Çarşı as it is called in Turkish, is located on the Sarayburnu Peninsula in the very heart of Istanbul and is one of the oldest, largest, and busiest covered markets in the world. With more than 5,000 shops and covering more than 60 blocks, it attracts between 250,000 to 400,000 visitors each day. Not each year, not each month, but each day. The Grand Bazaar came into being shortly after the conquest of Constantinople, now present-day Istanbul, by Sultan Mehmed II in 1453. For 3 centuries prior to this time, Istanbul had served as a border station for European crusaders who were trying to expand Christianity and evict Muslims entirely out of Asia Minor and the Byzantine Empire. With the conquest of Constantinople, Sultan Mehmed and the Ottomans proceeded to establish control over all of Turkey and Anatolia, Asia Minor, and unify all the Turkish populations under one nation-state. As a result, for the first time in history, the Ottoman Muslims were able to establish a lead role in the economics and international politics that before was impossible under the powerful Christian influence of Europe. The conquest of Constantinople resulted in the expansion of the Ottoman Empire and the fall of the Byzantine Empire. It had such a historical impact on the Turkish and Muslim world that historians consider the conquest of Constantinople as a historical turning point and the end of the Middle Ages, and thankfully the dawn of the Renaissance period. The location of Istanbul makes it ideally suited for trade. First of all, it is located right on the physical and cultural border of 2 different continents, Europe and Asia, and on land and sea trade routes that have existed for centuries. Furthermore, with influence of the nearby Mediterranean Sea, its climate is nearly ideal for an average mean temperature of 56.6 degrees Fahrenheit, highs never out of the low 80s and the lows never dipping below freezing. While it does experience an average of 27 inches of annual precipitation annually, most of this comes during the winter months between November and February. With this in mind, just shortly after his conquest, Sultan Mehmed directed the construction of the Grand Bazaar, with the first covered warehouse buildings being constructed out of wood around an old Byzantine building. By 1461, the Grand Bazaar had established itself as the most important trade center in the region, integrating the arts, customs, and cultures of both the Byzantine and European West and the Ottoman and Turkish East. During the Ottoman period, quilt makers, slipper makers, turban and fez makers dominated the market, and everything from jewelry, fabrics, antiques, copper, and weaponry were traded at the bazaar. Today, the Grand Bazaar is really a mixture of several different bazaars selling everything from spices and fruits and vegetables to pottery, clothing, and everything in between. One of the most important things to remember about shopping at the Grand Bazaar is to remain patient and open to the experience. Unlike in the United States, where you are expected to pay the price on the tag, bargaining is the name of the game here, and shopkeepers will stop at nothing to get you into their shops and entice you out of your hard-earned cash. Also, shopping in Istanbul is a social custom, and shopkeepers will often offer customers refreshments and spend a great deal of time with them. However, do not feel obligated to buy something just because you got a cup of tea. Finally, make sure to shop around before you start to bargain, and do not make an offer on an item unless you are prepared to purchase it. Once a shopkeeper accepts an offer, you're obligated to buy the item. But however you slice it, the Grand Bazaar is really something extraordinary and worth the experience if you ever have a chance to visit Istanbul.